Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show for Friday, June 14th, 2019. Welcome to another eBay video. Today we're going to be discussing a new return screen on eBay, and I'm going to walk you through it. We're also going to be talking about more glitches and your comments, questions, and concerns from last week. In fact, last week you guys had so many good comments, questions, and concerns that I'm going to spend a little bit extra time on them today. Before we get started, I don't think I need to point out to anybody that once again, it's cloudy and raining. So I'm standing underneath here so I don't get too wet. We've had, again, nothing but rain and clouds all week. The temperature right now is 61 degrees in the middle of June. We can't even hit 70 degrees. It's horrible. And there's just no end in sight. That being said, let's get started with your comments, questions, and concerns. On late returns, several people wrote in. I'm going to read those comments first. AD wrote, late return declined. A guy bought a broken iPhone 7, no power, water damage from me. They tried to fix it and 5 months later opened a return. I declined their return and they lost the case. PayPal didn't help them either. I don't care how the buyer felt. It's his fault. He bought a piece of crap for $60 and couldn't fix it. It was intended for parts. Even his credit card company didn't help him. It's a win against the scamming buyers. Victorian Sculptures wrote, why would the 1 year want to return bother with returns? Geez, just list them herself on eBay and resell them. Geez, I am perplexed how some people would rather return the item and lose money than just relist the item themselves and possibly make money. Case in point, I had several returns again this week. One was for a $16 item. $16, okay? I think he paid about $7 shipping, all right? He bought the wrong size, he admitted it, he's returning it. So he's paying $14 in shipping cost to get a measly $16 back. $2 is all he's getting back when you think about it. If he would relist this item on eBay, he could actually make money or at least break even and not lose anything. More on late returns. D. Van Winkle wrote, I had an item shipped back to me 60 days, no return opened with eBay, no paperwork, it just showed up. My fee percentage is 11.05% for me. I'm glad your sales were good, Joe. My sales sucked this week. He mentioned about returns being sent to him with absolutely no communication. I've had several of them over the years, and what I do is nothing. I take the box, I put it aside, and I see what happens from there. Usually nothing happens. More on late returns. Neil Costell wrote, I once had a return request after 9 months. Take a wild guess what my response was, LOL. On a blocked buyer, Duncan VR wrote, something funny happened with a Fitchy buyer who did not pay for items 2 years ago. He wrote to me and asked if I could unblock him. He said if I did, he would now pay what he owed from 2 years back and buy something else he wanted and would pay immediately. Nuts. But do you think I should give him a second chance to the Fitchy guy? No rain in your show this time? Well, I'm making up for the rain right now. You can see that. And I don't think you should unblock the buyer, and I don't think you did. I had the same thing happen to me several years ago. A guy I had blocked for non-paying back in the old days before I required immediate payment wrote to me and said, Joe, about 8 years ago, I bought an item and I didn't pay you because at that time you didn't take PayPal. Now I see you take PayPal. I would like to buy the item from you and pay you. It was the same item. It was a common item that I had in a quantity listing, and I refused. I said, I will never unblock you. You lied to me, you're deceptive, and you're not a man of your word. And what did he do? He turned right around, started a guest account, and bought the item using that. On returns, 5797029, Mike wrote, Joe, since we're talking about returns, I had an issue with 3 of 4 returns and cancellations this past week. Now, when we issue the refund, eBay automatically relists the item at the same time, or maybe not. Later, I was looking for the items and they weren't listed. After digging into the refund details, in red letters it said failed to relist the item. No notice was sent to me to inform me of this failure. Is this another glitch? Yes, it's been going on for quite some time, Mike, and about a month or two, I actually did a cutaway that shows the same thing happened to me and it's still not fixed. It's just one of the many, many glitches we'll discuss later. More on late returns from Robert K. My comment on your 1-year customer return. I had a buyer years ago ask for a refund 8 months later because he said the used fuel pump failed. I ignored him. It was a used part after all, no factory warranty, and every time you drink from the Fox News Cup of Life and ring the bell, I see an altar boy. LOL. He, of course, as you guys know, is referring to the Fox News Cup of Life. And since I already have it up in the air, why not take a little sip? This is the Fox News Cup of Life. Happy is he who drinks from it. Ding-a-ling-a-ling! Charles Decker wrote about returns. This comment is kind of long, but it's really good, so I wanted to read it in its entirety. My total sales for the month of May were just under $11,000. The fee percentage according to the pie chart on my invoice was 7.49%, and I primarily sell in the business and industrial category. A while back, I began offering no returns on all my newly posted items, and I just recently went through all my active listings and retooled them for no returns. I offer free shipping on most of my items, and I was getting sick of people carelessly buying things without reading anything and then returning them. Of course, that doesn't prevent people from opening erroneous item not as described cases, but I feel that's going to happen regardless whether you offer returns or not. Even when people are completely honest about the return reason, since I offer free shipping, I lose that original shipping no matter what. After eBay decreased the TRS discount from 20% down to 10%, I felt it was no longer worth it just to fiddle around with returns because after just a handful of returns, even legitimate ones from the West Coast, my losses with the original shipping exceeded the roughly $80 plus I saved on my invoice with the final value fees each month. And even if I did accept returns, I'm sure as heck would not accept anything back outside of my stated return window. With 19 years on eBay, I've only had a customer do a credit card chargeback maybe once or twice. I'm not holding everybody's hand. I'm not Walmart or Macy's. I don't have the profit margins they have, and I can't absorb those kind of losses simply because careless buyers spend money just by looking at the pictures and not reading anything before pulling the trigger. It's their own fault if they end up with items they don't want or need. I'm not worried about bending over and kissing eBay's behind to get a boost in search because most of the items that I sell are rare and hard to find, and I don't have much competition anyway. Okay, there's a lot to really digest there. He mentioned he had only 1 or 2 chargebacks in 19 years. I've had about maybe, I think 2 or 3, and it's not all that common, but it does happen occasionally. And those are from your worst of your worst, your fitchiest of your fitchy buyers. Here's a good comment by Skinny Cow about receiving messages from buyers in the middle of the night. This week I had one of those famous 3 a.m. eBay messages from a buyer, making an unsolicited offer about 20% less than my asking price on an item I had for sale. At about 7 a.m. the buyer sends another message, quote, "So, do you accept? Do we have a deal?" unquote. I got both around 8:30 a.m. when I started work. Apparently this buyer thinks eBay sellers are up and about during the 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. time frame. I blocked the buyer because I didn't want to accept the offer, and also because I felt this buyer was just going to be painful to deal with. One of those buyers who you just know will want to do a return, negative feedback, or some other thing that will just make the whole deal, in fact, an ordeal. You know, I agree. I have had people contact me at that same point, 3 a.m. in the middle of the night when I'm sleeping, and because I don't answer in a few hours, they contact me again and they nag me. And that is something that concerns me. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. I'd say a few times a month. On sending offers to watches, the two travelers wrote, "Wanted to include our luck with this sending offers to watches. We sell a little of everything and have sent over 50 offers and still not one taker. Would say eBay's new idea is a total disaster, and they really need people that know what they're doing and not kids sitting at a table coming up with new ideas. Just saying." As far as sending offers to watches is concerned, I feel in eBay Motors it's a total disgrace. It's a horrible idea, and it just does not work in eBay Motors. But conversely, I feel it does work in toys and collectibles, because that's stuff people buy for enjoyment, and they will make an impulse purchase, I feel, if you give them a cheaper price. Here's one on slow post office shipping from U812. Off topic, I've been experiencing super slow USPS first class mail delivery through eBay. I bought and sold items this past month with first class shipping, and all four took 4 to 5 working days. eBay sends a message arriving late. Pisses me off because I get packages posted quickly, often the same day. I have another first class package sitting at its destination post office just a few hours away. I posted it Monday and it's been 5 days. I had a similar occurrence. Not so much with things that I'm shipping, but things that I'm receiving. So I had about 4 or 5 items I was expecting, and none of them showed. One of them I needed badly. It was ink for my printer, and I had ordered it back on Monday of last week. Okay, so when it got to be Saturday and I didn't get the item, I checked the tracking, and the tracking said delivered Saturday at 10:17 a.m. It wasn't delivered. We didn't even get any mail Saturday. Okay? What happens? Monday, I get 5 boxes. 5 shipping orders arrive at my store, and written in pen on the boxes were attempted delivery Saturday, 4:15 p.m. Who is at work 4:15 p.m. on a Saturday? I'm not. I'm closed. And my second question is, why did the tracking show delivered 10:17 a.m. when it wasn't? I don't get this. I should say one thing. That one package that I'm talking about, that they had the tracking showing delivered 10:17 a.m. was not purchased on eBay. Here's something on FedEx. I don't usually get into FedEx because I don't use them. But once I read this comment, the few of you that do use them may want to rethink your policies. Boston News Garden wrote, and I truncated this comment for brevity. Anyone else see FedEx latest change about a $350 fee for anything they determine to be dangerous or hazardous, which can include poorly packaged items? Here's part of the email. Beginning June 1st, 2019, FedEx will charge a $350 fee for each incident of a package shipped through FedEx that contains dangerous goods or hazardous materials that is determined to be non-compliant by FedEx. What is considered a non-compliant package? A non-compliant package that contains dangerous goods or hazardous materials includes insufficient or improper packaging, improper hazmat labeling or markings, undeclared dangerous goods, prohibited materials, packages abandoned, or refused. This sounds like huge trouble in the making. Any of you guys who use FedEx, I suggest you rethink it. Here's a question from Mustafa Darar. Hi Joe, I know you covered this topic a couple of weeks ago, but I wanted to ask you or anyone that follows this channel, when do you think eBay will extend their managed payment program to all sellers? Well, they said they were rolling it out in increments. Many of us have already received the invitation and have chosen not to opt in. Are you sure you're ready to opt in? Now the good news about it is they're now accepting PayPal. PayPal has been integrated into the managed payments program. However, the global shipping program has not. So if you sell items to people overseas like I do, you would lose all those sales. This week alone, I had at least 6 orders through the global shipping program, and decent orders at that. He also had a second question. As most of us know, PayPal is no longer going to refund PayPal fees, so what happens if a buyer buys an item and wants to cancel a minute after completing a transaction? I sell high-value items on eBay as high as $1,500, and with the high-value items, it often happens when a buyer just changes his or her mind because they found a better deal. Can we charge the buyer? It has not happened to me yet, and we all know it's coming, so any ideas or suggestions? I talked about this several weeks ago, and I said that PayPal has rescinded that policy. They are not going to implement that policy due to a huge and vocal backlash from us sellers. So at this point, that's nothing for you to worry about. 2 channel comments before we start new business. Cynthia Mack wrote, "Love the Fox News Cup of Life and your wonderful laugh. Thanks for another great video, Joe. Always learning something new from you, and yes, you should be training eBay employees." And Jen HM wrote, "You are absolutely hilarious. How you say the stuff you do with a straight face, I don't know. Loving your work, Joe." Thank you for those positive comments, you two. Now let's get started with some new business of the week. But you know what? Before we do, I gotta have another drink from the Fox News Cup of Life. First new topic. eBay has unveiled a new returns flow screen. Have any of you guys experienced it yet? I'm willing to bet you haven't. I have, because as you know, I get a minimum of 3 returns per week, and this week is no exception. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a cutaway. I'm going to walk you through the new returns flow screen, then we'll come back and we'll discuss it at length. So let's do that now. Okay guys, welcome to eBay's new return flow window. I'm going to walk you through how this works because I'm sure most of you guys have not seen this before. But because I get more returns than most of you, I already have, so I'm going to walk you through doing a return right now. So let's get started with this item right here. 2000 to 2004 Buick LeSabre center cap. So what you'll do first is you will click on See Details. That will bring up this screen here. It says the buyer has started a return. The buyer has until June 17th to ship the item back. You can give the buyer a refund now or wait for the item to arrive. This return has been approved automatically per the eBay returns policy. Now this particular buyer is what I would call a legit buyer, as most of mine are. You can clearly see that he checked off the item doesn't fit, and he admits he made the mistake. He thought it would fit. The item price was $33.96. He purchased it on June 3rd and got it on June 6th. Now, a few backstories to this deal. When the customer got the item, instead of opening a return request through eBay, he did 2 weird things. He contacted me directly through eBay, through their contact system, saying he was going to return it, and at the exact same time went ahead and bought another one from me, even though that one was the same size as this one. Unbelievable, but true. I could not make this up. So I had to contact him through eBay messages and tell him that he has to open a legit eBay return, which he then did. Then I went ahead and I canceled his second purchase. I honestly don't know why he would have bought a second one when the first one won't fit. Now, he did ship the item back to me. However, he did not do it the proper way and did not upload the tracking through eBay. But nonetheless, I'm going to give him a return right now because I've already received the item back. So now I'm going to click on Refund Buyer. And this is the screen that will come up. This is all new. Here is the purchase price of $33.96. Now here we have deductions, anywhere from 0 to 20%. I have not used this window, and I'm not 100% sure if I could, even if I wanted to. I do not charge a restocking fee. Now here you can see original shipping through priority mail was $8.50. It is not toggled on. If I wanted to give him the shipping back too, I would just toggle this over and he would get the shipping back, but that's not happening. Now here they give you a place to add comments just in case you want to comment. This would be very helpful in case you encountered a bad buyer. This guy, however, is not a bad buyer. I plan to give him his money back with no questions asked. I did, however, decide to type this little item in just to cover myself, saying that he did not upload the tracking, but he sent the item back to me on his own, so I'm refunding him right now, which I'm going to do. Here you have the option to add files. I imagine this is in case the customer sends you back an item that's not the same item you sent to him, or if he sends it back broken or misaligned or misused in any way. But I have no problems with this particular customer. I'm going to click Next because I want to give him his money back. Here is the review and refund screen. Review the details below, and if everything looks good, go ahead and refund the buyer. You can see I'm giving him his full purchase price of $33.96. No original shipping. That's the total. And there's the comment that I typed in earlier. Buyer did not upload tracking but sent me the item back on his own, so I'm refunding him. I will now click Refund Now. Bang. You refunded the buyer. Here it shows it's delivered because I already went and manually stated that it was delivered, even though the tracking does not show that. So he got his full refund of $33.96, and everything is as it should be. Let's get back to the video and discuss this in detail. Alright guys, I think the new eBay returns flow system is very good. I have no complaints or problems with it at all. As you know, I consider myself an expert on returns, and I'm not bashful about saying it because I get plenty of them. However, as you saw in the example I showed you, and even in this second example, if you were really observant, both of my buyers were totally honest and said they bought the wrong size. Totally legit buyers. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, yeah, sure, it's a bit annoying after a while, but I guess it's part of doing business. I'm thankful that I don't have many fishy buyers who claim items not as described just because they bought the wrong size. This was a week of glitches on eBay, the worst day being Wednesday. The first thing that happened was late Tuesday night during the wee hours of the morning, eBay was down for about 4 or 5 hours. Now luckily I was sleeping when that happened, so it didn't hurt me on the listing end. However, I had no sales overnight. So from the point, what was it now? Tuesday, let's say Tuesday at 6 p.m. all the way through to Wednesday night at about 6 p.m. I had no sales whatsoever, not a single sale, and I rarely go 24 hours without a sale. Many people were writing into their Facebook groups talking about various glitches. There was a glitch with your promoted listings. If you clicked on that, it would show a flat line and no promoted listings. I experienced that. I also experienced a glitch printing labels. I was unable to print labels for a short period, but then later on, that glitch was corrected. And there were other various glitches that other people encountered that I did not. So I'm sure some of you guys experienced glitches from the point Tuesday night through all of Wednesday. That was when eBay was switching over to their new catalog format, I do believe. And it encountered more problems than they anticipated. So yeah, sales this week were pretty darn good. Very good, with the exception of the midweek period and the glitches, when of course I had nothing for 24 hours. Oddly enough, I had 2 people write to me, contact me, message to seller, asking for ridiculously low prices on items that I had already discounted. For instance, one item comes to mind. I had it discounted 20% and the price was down to about, I think, $21 plus shipping. And I had a guy write to me and say, will you take $10 plus shipping? I said to him simply, get it locally, you'll save money that way. And within 2 hours, cha-ching, he bought my item for the $21. And so did the other person who tried that too, oddly enough. But yeah, I just thought that was worth a mention. Next item is I would like to give a shout out to a few of you guys, a few of my subscribers. For the longest time, as you can see, there's been no Birdhouse on the poll. 3 people, 3, have either sent or said they're going to send me a Birdhouse. 2 have already arrived. I'm going to unveil them now. You know, it's kind of like buses in New York. You can stand on a corner and wait and none come by. Then they all come by at one time, all the same bus. So let me do a breakaway now and let me show you the birdhouses that arrived and a shout out to the people involved. This is the first birdhouse sent by Mr. James Ray. Take a good look at it. Really nice, really neat. I like it a lot. That's the backing. Thank you, James, for sending me this birdhouse. It is much appreciated. Here is the second birdhouse. This one was sent by Patty Durr. It's very nice. And it has a very interesting saying on it. Let me point it out to you in case you can't see it. Right there. Don't be fidgy. Actually, it's not quite spelled the way I pronounce it. I pronounce it fitchy, but it gets the message out there, okay? Or should I say, the message is getting out there. So, okay. So that's the second one. The third birdhouse has not yet arrived at the filming of this video, but I will present it next week. Nathan's going to be sending me one, and I will show you guys that one next week. So hopefully by next week, guys, if I can get myself into action, one of these birdhouses will be on that pole. One of them will be over that way. I used to actually have 3 birdhouses when I moved in here, but we get so many storms that tree limbs and the wind would just break them all off. So all 3 were broken off. I don't know if maybe I'll spin the camera around. Wait, let me put this inside. I'm going to spin the camera around. I don't know if you can see. There used to be a birdhouse right in the middle of the foliage there. And of course, a tree limb broke off and knocked it off and broke that one. And then I had one more around the side. So yeah, guys, I gotta thank you very much for those birdhouses. It shows that I have the best subscribers on YouTube and the coolest people. That being said, let's do a quick rehash and I'll bring this to a close. First of all, please comment below any eBay comments, questions, concerns you have, and I'll try to answer every one of them next week. I'm especially interested in your feelings or your opinions on eBay's new return flow screens. What do you think of that? Do you experience any glitches during the week? Or any eBay topic you want to talk about is welcome. Remember, I'm Crazy New York Driver and you're not. Thanks for watching. Each week I come out here and I make these videos to try and help you be successful on eBay. If you think I'm doing a good job, please leave me a thumbs up. It tells me I'm appreciated and on point. If you don't think I did a good job, tell me in the comment section what you want me to hit up and I'll be happy to do so. Remember, I'm a seller friend, not a seller critic or skeptic of any kind. I've solved a lot of problems, I'm still making money online, and I have absolutely, positively never worn a mask. Some say I could be a CEO or even a CFO of my own company. So yeah, guys, I hope you make a ton of money on eBay this week. Go out there, rock on, and peace! Yeah! Alright. The video's basically over and the rain is coming down harder now than it was before. I'm going to have to dry off this hoodie because the left side of it is wet. I don't know if you guys can see that over there, but my left side is wet because the rain is coming down harder and harder. The rain started this morning at approximately 7 a.m. You can set your clock by the rain. I'm not kidding. It never rains at night. No matter what they predict, the rain does not start till 7 o'clock in the morning precisely, and it shuts off precisely 6 p.m. It only rains during the day, and when it snows, it only snows at night. So yeah, that's basically it. Is there anything left that I have to do before I end the video? Let me think. We've talked about eBay. I've done my final closing. I've had 2 drinks from the Fox News Cup of Life. Oh wait, there is one more thing. Please, please guys, rarely do I tell people what to do. I suggest normally. But in this case, I'm telling you. 3 words. Don't be fishy! Yeah!